People have so many assumptions about starting your own kids crafting club. They assume you need heaps of cash to get started. They assume that in order to work creatively with kids, you need to have formal education in training and art. They assume that in order to run a club for profit, you need to have years of business experience. Well, call me crazy, but I can say with certainty that none of the above is true. What if we told you that you're already in the perfect position to start your own club? In today's video, I'm going to talk about the 4 most common myths of starting a kids crafting club. Let's dive in. Hey there, I'm Stefanie, co-founder of the Creative Crafting Club, the place to be if you want to learn how to start and grow your very own kids crafting club. Over the last couple of years of helping women all over the world start and grow their own kids crafting clubs, we've realized that there are so many people out there who are passionate about creativity and crafting and working with children, but they don't pursue their dream of running a kids crafting club because of, wait for it, fear. And this thing called fear comes in a number of forms. For example, fear that I don't have enough money to get started, fear that I don't have the required skills like business skills or art skills, and fear that I'm not creative enough. But here's the thing, these fears are nothing but myths. Today we're going to talk about the 4 most common myths of starting a kids crafting club. Let's dive right in and do some myth busting. Myth number 1, I need heaps of startup cash before I can start. Unlike most other businesses, the reality with the Kids Crafting Club is that you really don't need a lot to get started. So this myth is completely false. Let's break it down. For you to get started with the Kids Crafting Club, you essentially need 3 things: a venue, supplies, and marketing. Let's briefly touch on each of these. A venue. If you have a dining room table at your house, you can start out there. When we started out, we didn't have a space at home, so we rented a room at our local church and paid them a small fee per student. Then we started hosting after-school classes at schools, mostly for free and sometimes for a small fee per student. It was only much later, when we had built up loyal customers, that we moved into a studio space. Our members host classes online, which is free if you use Facebook and your cell phone to record like I'm doing right now. They also host classes in person from their homes, at studios, at their local schools, at kid-friendly restaurants, in church halls, in community centers, at art galleries, in garden nurseries. You get the point, anything is possible. Here's a quick tip. As long as you pay per child, you will only ever have to pay when you make money. So this is a great way to start out, as you don't need any upfront cash if you do it this way. Remember, you don't need a Pinterest perfect studio to get started. Start small and you can always grow into the studio space of your dreams at a later stage when you've got a steady income stream. The second thing you need to start hosting classes is supplies. Want to know our secret to running a super low-cost crafting club? It's using a lot of recycled materials. Upcycling is a crafting club owner's best friend. If you haven't yet, you can grab our free recycling items checklist below this video, in which we share our complete list of recycled items that works very well for kids crafting. Other than that, you will need to buy some basic arts and craft supplies. If you're smart with the supplies that you use, then it can really last a long time. Start small, don't buy everything up front. Use what you have at home and only buy the supplies that you need for your first few classes, and buy more later as you grow. We've also added a list of the top 15 supplies that we use in almost every single class in this guide below the video, so be sure to grab that to get an idea of the essentials that you'll need to get started. Okay, the third thing you need is marketing. Now, in our experience, the most effective way by far to market your kids crafting club is through word of mouth. Being referred by someone who has attended one of your classes is more valuable than handing out 1,000 flyers or paying for Facebook ads. I know this may be hard to believe, but it's true. If you have kids at home, think of the activities that they attend. Then think back of where you first heard about those activities. It was most likely through a friend or the school newsletter. If not, let us know in the comments. I'd love to know. So use your network when you're starting out. That's how most humble businesses begin, with family and friends of friends, and then friends of friends telling their friends about your club. So there you go. Myth number 1, I need heaps of startup cash before I can begin. Busted. Let's move on to myth number 2. I need formal teacher training to run a kids crafting club. This is one we hear all the time. Can you relate? Here's the thing, you don't need formal education to run a kids crafting club. Christelle and I don't have degrees in teaching, and nor does Lily, who teaches at our club, and nor do most of the members in the Creative Crafting Club. You don't need to spend years to obtain certification or a qualification before you can start earning money with the Kids Crafting Club. Isn't it wonderful? There are so many new opportunities to learn nowadays. Think of all the ebooks and courses and memberships and other resources that condense massive learning into months and sometimes even weeks. The online world has opened doors for all of us. Even though we believe you don't need formal training and education, we do, however, feel very strongly about a couple of things that you do need, and they are, number 1, a passion for working with kids. Number 2, an appreciation for creativity and nurturing curiosity in children. And number 3, enthusiasm and the ability to communicate well with kids. If you feel the need to boost your confidence when it comes to working with groups of children, you can always volunteer at your kids' school, a daycare, at an after-school club or a holiday camp, or you can just start off with small groups of kids in your classes and grow the number of kids per class as your confidence grows. But you really don't need a formal qualification in teaching to run your own kids crafting club. So myth number 2, I need formal teacher training to run a kids crafting club. Busted. Let's move on to myth number 3. I need business experience if I want to make money with my club. While business experience may be a bonus, I can tell you with certainty that even if you don't have business experience, it is very possible to make a success of your own kids crafting club. In fact, there are 2 things that I believe are way more important than having experience or a qualification in business, and here they are. Number 1, an eagerness and willingness to learn. Oh my gosh, this is so important. If you really want to, you can learn anything. And number 2 is a mentor or someone who has gone before you who you can learn from. Learning from those who have gone before you makes a big difference. And let me be very clear, I'm referring to those who have achieved success doing what you want to do. If someone has been successful in doing the same thing, follow their advice. It's as simple as that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel if you can follow a proven process or roadmap and learn from those who have gone before you. So you don't need a business degree, you just need these 2 things and you will be well on your way to build a successful kids crafting club. Myth number 3, I need business experience if I want to make money with my club. Busted. Myth number 4, I need to be very creative to be able to run a kids crafting club. To be honest, I used to think this was true too. I used to think parents of students would want their kids to learn from someone with an art degree or something similar. I mean, think about it. Arts and crafts and creativity are synonymous, right? But if you really start unpacking it, teaching arts and crafts to kids is all about the process. The kids are doing the work and you as the teacher are there to guide and inspire them, to ask questions so that they can solve the problems and get to a solution. So it's really about them and not about you. The most beautiful part of a crafting class happens when the kids get to make the decisions and create something from nothing. If you allow them this opportunity to take control of their own creative process, they beam of pride and joy. So no, you don't have to be very creative to run a crafting class. It's more about asking questions to guide the kids on their creative journeys. When it comes to lesson plans, the online world saves the day again. There are loads of free resources online for anyone to use. A tip and a word of warning I want to share with you at this point would be to beware of using Pinterest crafts. Most of the crafts on Pinterest are created by adults and that's why they're so pretty. But kids' crafts need to be tested on kids to ensure they work for kids and that they are age appropriate. To get you started, we've added 3 age-appropriate lesson plans to teach ages 2 to 12 in the guide below this video. To be completely honest with you, lesson planning does take a lot of time. So if you don't have a lot of time, I would highly recommend you sign up for a program that does the lesson plans for you. Just ensure that the lessons have been tested on real human children. In a recent survey we did with our Creative Crafting Club members, they said that the done-for-you step-by-step lesson plans we provide as part of our membership is the #1 reason why they would recommend the membership to others, as many of them are moms, and let's be honest, moms just don't have a lot of time. So if you are running weekly classes and you have to constantly research new crafts to do with your students, then you can easily become overwhelmed. So even if you are creative, I would recommend going this route because it just saves you a lot of time in research and prep. At the end of the day, if your students have an awesome time in your classes, they will want to come back for more week after week. So as long as you can make it a super experience for them, your business will be rocking. So myth number 4, I need to be very creative to host crafting classes, busted. To wrap up, let's do a quick recap of the 4 myths. Myth number 1, I need heaps of startup cash before I can begin, busted. Myth number 2, I need formal teacher training to run a kids crafting club, busted. Myth number 3, I need business experience to make a profit from my club, busted. And myth number 4, I need to be very creative to host crafting classes, busted. So there you have it. Now I'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below if you have any other struggles, doubts or fears about starting your own kids crafting club, because we'd love to help. Until next time, cheers!